Hello, fellow foreigners. It's Emily, it's Peter, and we are not here discovering China, we're living it. What do we have today?
Well, today is a continuation of yesterday's video that was abruptly cut off on how we love China. And we all love China, Bradley.
Brad.
Come on. We all do. But my point yesterday before we got cut off, we were bashing on Alinda, which I just kind of had chosen as an arbitrary woman's name. And I think it stuck in my head because of the current craze. Because Linda's very memorable. No, because the current Twitter practice of referring to women, annoying women as Karen, annoying white women specifically, which I didn't know that Avenue 5 was that popular. Karen is the character on Avenue 5.
Are you watchers? Do you watch Avenue 5? Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's taken all over Twitter.
Yeah, I initially thought it was the Deborah or
Janice.
Janice.
Yeah. I mean, because women are the worst.
Yeah.
So.
And all white women in the office are the same.
Yeah. So they deserve our scorn.
And so that's the mistake that you made.
I do want to stress that no Lindas were harmed in the filming of yesterday's episode.
Yeah.
And if you didn't watch yesterday's episode, what are you doing here? Go back and watch.
Yeah.
Because we all love China. Let's get over it. Or
we don't go backwards here. We're moving forward.
We're always looking forward. And I want to talk to you today about big hangers.
Oh.
I was thinking about big hangers.
Is that a band?
Oh, it should be. No, it's a literal big hanger. Because here in China, we live in China, you can buy like a giant hanger that you hang your towel on. Because we don't have dryers. So we just hang up everything on hangers. And so you don't have to fold your towel.
Old news, man.
Yeah.
Dryers, never happened.
So wasteful.
Or
they're so convenient.
We moved so far into the future that things, the tough part is things don't actually dry, especially here in Luzhou.
Yeah.
They just stay wet all year round.
They just stay pretty damp and develop a smell.
We're in a damp area.
There's nothing, our towels are just going to smell like must forever. But what I like about it is it's like a concurrent evolution of that's like a Chinese... I would identify as like a thing that happened to us in China, but it's not like from 5,000 years of Chinese history we bring you the big hanger.
The big hanger.
And it is like an example.
Bring me the big hanger.
Yeah, it's an example of it's just the way different cultures solved problems. Because you can dry your towels
any way you want.
Infinite number of ways.
Rocks.
And we chose big hangers. And so if David Byrne came over with his giant suit.
Oh my God.
China's ready for him. Because it turns out, there's art here.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did you know?
Well, we did come from New York City looking for art.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's taken us maybe 8 years in our tiny little burb.
I mean, we on purpose moved to this tiny middle of nowhere hick town, which I say... I would say, Luzhou friends, if you're watching, don't be offended, but they would be the first to say that this town is great, and our Luzhou friends are like, this town is the worst.
Yeah, yeah. Our first, we went up to Chengdu in our first year, and we're so excited to be in this big city, but we were loving Luzhou, and we go to this little dive bar, and it's just this one little dude that started a fire in the middle of his bar, and there was no one else there at 2 in the morning.
In a fire pit.
In a fire pit.
You phrased that excitingly.
Well, burn. But
he was into punk, but not that.
He was punk enough to have patches on his jacket, and then pulled out an acoustic guitar and started singing
Clash songs.
Clash tunes. And
that was pretty cool.
When we realized that he was from Luzhou, he's like, "Yeah, fuck that place." Oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
it's cool. But now, all these years later, a lot of those kids that have, when we were in high school, when we got here, have gone off to college and have come back, and they've brought with them culture.
Dare we say it? Luzhou might be getting cool.
And not there's, of course, it's an old city. There's lots of culture here. But we're not your tour guides. We're not here, to hold your hands through the monasteries or take you to hot pot. I mean, we'll take
I
you to
don't
hot
really
pot, but,
like touching other people, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold your hand.
Right. I mean, I worked, we both worked like seconds away. We had to walk past the Empire State Building practically every day to work for like 6, 8, 9 years or whatever.
We're tourists.
Never went to it. Anyone that like lives
Well,
in a...
speak for yourself.
Oh, you went to it?
Well, I brought out-of-town friends to go visit.
Well, I never did.
You don't have out-of-town friends.
But a lot of people, like, they live in places, in big cities, places, mountains,
Oh yeah, you
wherever.
don't go to that stuff unless you have out-of-town friends.
Right. And that's not what this channel is about. We moved here because we were in New York. We
Yeah.
saw what was cool, and then we moved here, and now we want to find what's cool. Not
Yeah.
karaoke places, and not like we've gone to the monastery. We have videos with monasteries and karaoke places and hot pots and stuff because we live in China.
And a
We didn't move-
deconstructed Buddha statue.
Yeah,
It's my
we didn't
favorite.
move to China to tell those stories, but what we did move is to find people, artists, interesting people, forward thinkers that can appreciate the past and the future of the world and of China and America and the Western world and anything that is about, I mean, we're artists. That's what we do. We're looking for filmmakers. We're looking for musicians. I mean, when we're in New York City, like I didn't go to Times Square just to like go to the record store and buy the new Bruce Springsteen. Like I wanted to go to Gowanus and see a Julia Nunes or like some cool like underground comics or something. That's the reason I was there. We moved here to go to Chengdu to see Nova Heart or go down to Chongqing at Nuts Club. Awesome place to see.
So if you have any indie band recommendations, leave them in the comments.
That's exactly what we're looking for. What's cool that you know?
Because we are starting to find that here in Luzhou specifically. The city is growing up. We were talking about this with another friend because it's not just us. We're not just like wackadoos making up our own artistic China. Like the generation that was in high school when we got here went to university and came back and are starting like cool businesses.
Yeah.
Whereas like when we first moved here, it was remarkable that like everyone you'd see out was babies and grandparents. All the young people had left, but the young people are coming home.
They came back and they brought
and
some...
doing cool stuff.
Yeah, bands. I mean, you've just joined this jazz band that we sit around and we talk. They want to talk about Miles Davis and they want to talk about Sonic Youth. And I mean, this is like cool, fun stuff. We're
They're validating our cool culture back to us.
But I mean,
it's a little chauvinist of us.
I mean, there's that certainly, but like, but we're here like looking for bands like Subs and Nova Heart and My Little Airport and like Carsick Cars. Like, I mean, we love this stuff. And
look it up.
It's the same audience. And so finally to be able to sit down with film people and talk about film from an artistic standpoint, not going like, what did you see? Well, we saw the new Trolls or like, you know, that's not what we're here for. And we weren't there for that in America either. So like, it's not, I don't think it's too uppity to say that like we're looking for
just uppity enough.
Yeah, we're awfully uppity that we're looking for a certain kind of people to be part of our little community here.
And we don't want to talk about it too much because it's in progress, but we found some, which is there's the competitive part of me. Last night at dinner I was thinking of this, that Luzhou learned English faster than I learned Chinese, which I'm a little bummed. But it does, like, I mean, that was the big language barrier to finding culture, is that, like, if we didn't speak Chinese, it was just going to be impossible.
Yeah.
But now, like, we met a friend who spent 7 months working on a cruise line that served North American passengers, so her English is like fluent.
A lot of the kids that we met that were kids here have now traveled the world back and forth and come back and told us about places that we've never been to. You have to go to Marrakesh. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, nobody said that because we don't know anybody from the 50s.
Maybe.
But yeah, no.
Time traveling is possible here in this exotic land of China that we love.
China is a time traveler.
Even our friend that you're talking about has just moved here in the last year, and she was like, this is kind of like being Chinese.
She's not from here. It's not like she moved back. She moved from another part of China to here.
Right.
Which is like, I think that's exciting.
She's from another part and has moved to Luzhou and is like, wow, this is kind of like going back in time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we're like, yeah, it's like being on a movie set. Like,
It's like being in the past and the future all at once.
Yeah.
Which we're not the first person to make that observation about China. But
yeah.
It's just true.
It's just true, and these are some of the exciting reasons that why we love China. It's as much as the parts that, I mean, there's lots of places in America I don't want to go, but I fucking love New York City. Like, I mean, the only reason that we left was because we wanted to find out what else was cool.
I still have reactions, like New York as a brand is popular on clothing in everywhere, I think, but here too, and like, so people are wearing Brooklyn hats, and I'll be like, I live there. Like, you don't know what that is.
You've seen people like with your own hometown of like West Hampton.
Yeah, that was weird. No, Southampton, but Southampton Clambake was like a shirt one summer. But yesterday I saw someone wearing a Nathan's Hot Dog Coney Island shirt, and I was like, I've peed in that bathroom. She doesn't want to know that.
Don't tell her that. Or maybe.
I do miss a good Nathan's hot dog.
Never had one?
With a little sauerkraut. Oh, you're not a hot dog person, though.
No, I do. I like hot dogs.
Oh, I guess that's true.
And I like the Empire State Building too, but I don't go to them. I don't go to places or do things. I just appreciate them from behind a window screen.
Well, like, I'd go to Shake Shack and get a hot dog because I don't actually like hamburgers. Which is another New York thing of like, yeah, okay, that's the total. I'm getting way too into it. If I'm going to talk about how Shake Shack has gentrified the Flatiron District, I think it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And let's get into making fun of the way all you humans talk.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Here we go.
It's time again.
Yeah, it's that time again.
Where we got today?
有没有大一点儿的？我现在比较胖。
Okay.
Which means, do you have one a little larger? All right, so far.
Oh.
I'm quite fat now.
Okay, so that just went bad and then got worse. I mean, we're talking about you're an American, possibly anywhere Western, in China.
Well, I mean, people are very forthcoming about their size here.
Yeah, but
they're very forthcoming about other people's sizes.
But given that these phrases are from learned Chinese.
Yeah.
They already know Chinese, I assume, unless you're a baby. It's a fat baby?
Well, I'm quite fat now. I do appreciate the forthrightness, which I can say from experience, like coming here and then just all of a sudden being larger than a lot of people around us. It is like, you just have to keep asking for larger. I remember the first time I bought a t-shirt and I would like try it on, I'll do a large. And then I was like, can you bring me the next size up? Can you bring me a next size up?
Next.
Can you bring it? I'm wearing a triple extra large. And like, I wasn't especially large for an American, but it is just like,
you're a tiny American.
The sizing is different.
I'm a
tiny American. Yeah, but I'm quite fat now as a conditional. Like, what does that mean? I'm quite fat now.
I mean, are you trying to like make some excuse of like maybe you've come here on vacation, you've been, you know, a lot of people come from the West, they tour through China for like a couple of weeks, a month or something like that because it's such a big trek. Pretty traditional thing to do for us Westerners.
Yeah. Lonely Planet, that was our resource when we first moved here. They were like, we really don't suggest coming to China for less than 3 months.
It's just too hard. Like,
just three weeks is just squeaking it.
Nowadays, we got like the rails are coming in and subways in the cities and stuff. It's a lot easier. But
I mean, it's still a pretty big country.
Yeah. But so you've been traveling around.
Yeah.
And maybe you've had like a couple of hot pots. And you had a couple more, and you're just
you're saying that China
down.
made them fat.
Possibly.
The delicious food.
The Chinese food that we love.
Yeah.
Hard.
And so it's maybe a badge of pride. I'm quite fat now.
Yeah.
I can eat 10 pots of hot pot. I like that.
Right?
I'm quite fat now. Bring me your largest size.
All the tofu skins in the house,
please. It goes back to the days of like emperors and royalty where being fat meant you were wealthy.
Yeah.
I'm quite fat. Look at this American.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like that's something that I've not just experienced, but had heard people talk about being here in China. Like when the kids come up to you and they're just like, oh, Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry for being so fat. They're like, no, you're a boss.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, in that case, well, bring another hot pot.
Yeah, put on your Beijing bikini.
Yeah.
Bring on the hot pots.
Exactly. So.
But
yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna belabor this because I'm quite fat now.
Now. That's the sticking point for you?
It's a sticking point because do you plan on losing the weight? If so, why are you clothes shopping now?
Good point. I see what you're saying. Wait till you reach the full maximum that you're going for.
Well, I'm quite fat now. I'm going for extraordinarily fat. Whatever it is, the weight you're currently at, you're not planning to stay at. That's how I interpret that.
I go to clothing stores to see what the maximum size is, and then I just push for that.
You're like, let me try on your largest. Still roomy. Let's go to dinner.
Same as it ever was.
Yeah, I like that. I like
right.
that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's really that handy to come into use for learn
No,
Chinese.
none of these phrases are handy. They're hilarious.
Handily hilarious.
Yeah. No, I want to know the people who are saying I'm quite fat now. Tell me about your life. I like your body acceptance, and I like your acceptance that the future, past performance is no indication of the future.
Yeah.
I feel like they're a realist.
So sound off in the comments. What is your weight?
And be happy with it. Be happy. Accept your body. Dove Body Soap loves you. Let's go on.
In these trying times.
In these trying times. 这是我男朋友的照片.
Panyo, so I got friend.
Yep. This is my boyfriend's picture. And to not slam on any gender, there was this is my girlfriend's picture as well. And who's showing pictures to people anymore?
On your phone.
But don't show me your, I'll give me your Instagram and I'll not look at your pictures later in the privacy of my own home. No one's got that wallet full of Polaroids anymore. Boyfriends.
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Well, this is boyfriend number 1. This is boyfriend number 2.
Number 3 is waiting.
Yeah, I like that.
So you're one of those douchebags that does the signs people's Instagrams that I approve of this boyfriend number 2.
Well, yeah, I guess that's something that friends do for friends is look over. This is my boyfriend. What do you think? Oh, he's ugly.
I mean, I guess I don't even really know how Instagram works. Is it that personal thing? I mean, it seems like almost nobody on them. But
nobody wants to look at your pictures, so you can put them on Instagram so you feel validated, but then I don't have to look at them. Wait a second.
Are you saying that my Facebook is useless?
No, your Facebook is very important. No, I just isn't back in the day collaring someone.
Photos.
But in the history of people showing other people their own photos, you'd have a slideshow, and that was always the joke of I don't want to watch their slides. I don't
want to watch their YouTube channel.
I'm gonna sit with you, and also that it's your boyfriend. Maybe I'll tolerate your kids because they seem important to you. I guess people
What if he's a real prime choice cut of meat, though?
Oh, I guess I do look at pictures of my trainer.
I mean, he's got a lot of moves.
I do show you pictures of my
so what are you trying about?
He's very graceful and very fit.
And it's him and all the babies.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess this is a picture of my boyfriend is less obnoxious. This is a picture of my student.
What did they used to say? Pwned?
I guess I got pwned. Ponied.
I mean, the kids themselves, it's like cats. You don't want to look.
Yeah.
A photo of a child is like a car crash. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't process the world visually, so I think I don't understand what photos are for.
Yeah, so imagine how hard it is for me, a graphic designer and visual artist.
So we're at two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm just what are you putting in front of my face? What am I supposed to look at? And you're the composition of this. Have you never heard of the rule of thirds?
Yeah. The registration is all off. I can't even like look at this color of this baby.
Because I will admit
I hate the color of that baby.
The every 3 months when I do take a photo and upload it to Instagram, I go filter crazy. You're like, I'll meticulously edit this photo.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Aptana.
Yeah, I found this button.
Perfect.
Great Photoshop.
Doesn't it look like I really took a picture from the 70s?
Visual magic.
I will fully admit to being attracted to that super tacky, super saturated faux nostalgia.
Who isn't?
Yeah, I guess that's why it's popular.
Yeah.
Popular things are popular because people like them. What's wrong with that?
Like China.
Yeah.
People love China.
China's so popular.
It's popular hard.
It's hardly popular.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know why.
And another thing.
I don't know why we have to continuously like cajole Westerners into coming here. Again, not being a tourism guy.
I don't want anybody to come here.
I don't think China
I'm
needs
less
to beg.
special if more foreigners come here.
I don't think China needs to beg for people to come here. Are you worth coming to China? Why don't you prove yourself for once? Sick of it. Anyways, what else we got?
I got one last bonus one. And 他是谁的学生, which is, whose student is he? And I will reveal, I've revealed this secret before, but we've got a lot of new friends, so this is big news. Teachers don't like you. Teachers don't like you.
What are you revealing?
Teachers aren't a big fan of students. No, I'm joking, of course. I'm not joking. Because this sentence to me, whose student is he, is only from the point of view of a teacher. Mm-hmm. Because it's like I don't think like if you're talking to your fellow classmates, you would care from the point of view of the student, who is his teacher. You would never ask like, oh, that kid, whose student is he? Who does have this conversation is teachers. And that if you're asking whose student is he, there's two reasons why you'd be interested. Trouble or gifted.
Yeah.
Because whose student is he? Oh, he's a dream. He always does his homework. He always answers my questions. He always sits up front.
Yeah, it's the extraordinary child.
He runs the tutoring club.
Yeah. It's always either the troubled child or the extraordinary one. That is something that stands out that a teacher is going to go like, that kid's going to jail, or he's going to become a leader.
Or
maybe
that
both.
kid just can't keep his shoes on in class.
Right.
There is, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
There is a student who followed me, not me specifically, but I changed schools and then he changed schools. I did change schools because of him. And I was like to my boss, whose student is he? Not mine, please, not mine. And he wasn't, because they want to keep me as a teacher. Mm-hmm. But he's a very extreme case.
Well, I mean, without giving out any names.
Yeah. Yeah. So whose student is he? I see. That's a teacher.
Yeah.
Those are teachers in the break room comparing notes.
I mean, it would be exciting if you were that other person that is on, somebody's asking you that, like, whose student is he? Like, oh, that's mine.
Oh,
Right?
I like that. Because that's a hopeful educational situation.
Yeah,
like,
that's a win.
I'm impressed by his academic performance. Whose student is he?
Yeah.
I want to congratulate that teacher.
That is me.
I mean, if you agree with the authoritarian top-down approach of like the teacher's lecture and the students are just empty vessels, which is not current pedagogy.
But hey, I would take it.
Pedagogically.
I would definitely take any kind of kudos to. I did have people when I was teaching that would say like, "Oh, you've done a great job as a teacher." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Fuck everything else, win, 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 win."
Well, and in China, I think the academic culture is a little more respected than in the U.S. So maybe
even if you are a foreign teacher,
I see like the teachers in Bob's Burgers going, "Oh, whose teacher is he?
Yeah.
Whose student is he?" But
That
like
kid.
the Chinese teachers will be like, "Whose student is he?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so lucky."
Yeah.
He's such a good
Whose
learner.
student is he? He's got like a hot pot on his head all the time.
Yeah. That's the art teacher.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of all the.
That's all of it?
Yeah,
We don't
I
have
know.
anything else? What are we going to do?
Let's have some noodles. To you.